So it's up to us to keep current on the latest industry standards, codes, and regulations. That's what BICSI's about. That's what the RCDD program's about. Back in the 90s, there was many levels of cables and there was many categories of cables. I show this slide because back in the 90s, testing was not just about shorts, split pairs, opens, reversals, continuity. Electrical testing started with some of the premier products for electrical testing. It was actually being touted that visual inspection was all that was required back in the day. We didn't actually certify and warranty systems back in the 80s. The 90s started changing that for us. Back in the early 80s, I remember some of the telephone companies' practice was actually not even to label the cabling. You pulled all the cable, right? Then you toned it and tagged it and chopped it down after it was pulled. Matter of fact, we weren't integrated into the design-build process at all. It was an afterthought. We actually came in after the ceiling tiles were put up, and we wired the floor for mostly voice, and data started creeping in. But that was done as an afterthought. Now that we're fully involved in the construction process with our own division, I want to talk to you a little bit about that. Division 17 started in 1999, but really started to grow legs in the early 2000s. The advent of Y2K led my company to actually get involved with in-building cellular systems, because remember, the elevators were supposed to stop working and your PBXs were going to crash. Hundreds of millions of dollars were spent ensuring that that didn't happen. So in-building cellular systems started coming in place. The beginning of a silver lining for BICSI RCDDs started in the dot-com era, where you see that more applications were becoming more interdependent upon data. And we call 3G almost an obsolete technology now. In the early 2000s, 3G was something I remember at region meetings and different speaking events becoming very, very excited about. Constant change. The outside plant program took off in that time as well. It was very important for BICSI, actually, when we look back in time, for to celebrate the 30th anniversary in 2004. Many of you may have been there to witness that history and heritage. We're getting ready for our 40th anniversary soon in 2013. Our GSA schedule has led us to down the path actually to our #1 client. Our #1 client is actually the U.S. Marines. The military needs education and training. And I know John Adams has led the charge. We want to talk to John about leading the charge for future government contracts. We're all talking about, at least in my company, we're talking about the GEM market, government education and medical. Our global expansion took place in 2000. Dick Reed was president, and we wanted to actually a little bit of history here. From what I understand, BICSI, the I on BICSI, was originally meant to be international between the U.S. and Canada back in the early 80s, right? Well, the I in the 2000s, 1990, late 90s, meant international. So we went out and we started districts and regions in other areas. We're looking for continued growth. I took trips to Bangalore, India, and to Tokyo, Japan last year to engage and understand and what the needs are of the local community in that area. And I understood that many of the needs were the same: quality education and training, networking, and the volunteer effort was stellar. Global expansion is key for our future. In 2006 to 2009, we're now talking about the Next Gen program. 2005 was our strategic plan. 2006, we were working on it, led us to ask better questions. One of the questions was built out of our core ideology, our core purpose, that we want to be the preeminent source of ITS knowledge and training. We asked that question to other associations. Our products are growing. We need better vehicles to deliver our products, training, education, publications around the globe. Actually, I understand, I have it here, 7,000 RCDDs in 2006. We celebrated that. And I just got information from Bob Erickson. We have over 7,500 RCDDs. That's a nice celebration on this historic day. It's growing. Our platforms are growing too. Multimedia is taking off. Multimedia is what we're going to use in the future. I read in Business Week that people are no longer using ebooks. What they're doing is they're loading books on their cell phones. In Tokyo, when you're at a red light and you're driving in your car, you don't email, you don't get on the phone. What they do is they watch their favorite show. It's a proprietary network, but full motion video, your favorite show is on your cell phone. It's amazing. The technology here, Verizon Fios, many people think they use IPTV. They use MoCA, Multimedia over Coax Alliance. This technology is enabling a much easier transition into the homes. But what you see in the multimedia marketplace is phenomenal in terms of bandwidth. You've got applications like Sling, where you take a video and you sling it to your friend, or you sling it to your kids, or your kids sling it to you. It's amazing technology. You've got HyperNiche, which is taking off. You'll see 4G. There's an illustration of 4G, which is anything from 100 meg to a full gig bandwidth for mobile wireless communications. IPv6 as well. So as we go forward, you can see the silver lining starting to take shape. What I'm telling you is that it's not just about traditional data, it's about multimedia. It's about the acceptance of private build communities, infrastructure that accommodates a lot of connectivity. These systems are taking place in the Next Gen program for us. They're also taking place in the ESS world, electronic safety and security. Recently, I was in Dallas. I made a presentation to the National Burglar and Fire Alarm Association. I told them that we would like to be friends with them. We would like to understand more about their technologies, and we would like them to endorse our ESS credential, which launches third quarter of this year. There's 50 board members unanimously voted to become friends. I came to our board meeting and we reciprocated. We'll be announcing this on the wire, press release going out tomorrow, that the National Burglar and Fire Alarm and BICSI will form an alliance promoting one simple point of reciprocity: education, training, and subsequent credentialing. We'll do the design credential. They'll have the installation, which they have through the National Training School. Good friends to build relationships in the future. We're very excited about our relationship with TIA. We met with them Sunday night. They're good friends of BICSI. We work together as well with Fiber Optic Land Section and many others. But TIA is helping us establish 9 standards, which we're going to be publishing soon. Some are published already. The BICSI Standards platform is created by our volunteer community. Our volunteer acknowledgement program is in full swing. And we're very, very appreciative of all of our efforts on the committee structure. Bandwidth, connectivity, the needs of the human race, the needs for broadband in a connected world is incredible. Working on a project in Jersey City, 10,000 homes, multi-use, 15 different architects, private solution. The developer has his own NOC, his own CLEC. He's buying aggregate bandwidth. He's putting in triple play, and he's adding on a security element so that people can feel comfortable and watch video back 30 days. Kids in the playground, your car in the parking lot, whatever it is the cameras are viewing, you can view. I was driving down the turnpike. He calls me up. He says, I'm talking to the bankers in 15 minutes. I need to convince them what I'm doing in one word. I need one word to convince them what I'm offering this one word. In a connected world, that one word is broadband. That one word is broadband. In a connected world, we're breaking down barriers for business opportunity like never before. The fourth quarter for 2008 was very difficult for my company. As a business owner, I have to keep my finger on the pulse of what I'm doing in business as well at BICSI. I changed my mission statement. I served Fortune 1000 clients for the last 23 years. And I did that mostly in the United States. Break down the barriers for connectivity. Look for new business opportunities. I changed my business plan to serve not only private, but now it's public and private companies. I got rid of the United States and I went with international. We will serve the international community. It's much easier for us because the world is flat. The world is flat, it's a bit more complex, but outsourcing, downsizing, right-sizing, these things are taking place and they're shifting the way we think.